Hello and welcome to the Dana Duckworth Show, brought to you by Alabama One. I am Kennedy Chase, here with Coach Dana Duckworth. And Coach, let's talk about this tri-meet. Congratulations on a big victory. How is Team 48 feeling, and how are you feeling about the performance?
Overall, we feel the performance was progress, and we wanted to go out and hit 4 events for 4 events. And I think the environment of having 3 teams and something going on constantly and the pace of the meet was excellent experience for our ladies, especially as we get into postseason. So the progress was made. We did put 4 events together and let the outcomes take care of themselves. And we stayed in that Bama bubble, which allowed us to stay focused on what we needed to accomplish.
So let's get right into it, starting with that first rotation, which was vault. Stellar performance. How are you feeling about their performance on vault?
Best performance we've had so far on vault, and Shallon led us off with a beautiful double full right here. You see 2 twists in the air with a stuck landing. That really was the spark that got the whole entire environment going. And what I did love about the tri-meet is that we didn't have to wait on an event, so the girls were just one vault after another, and they just built on each other. So you can see that she did a great job there. She was excited. And then this was huge for Shania Adams. She had been competing a full. We went upgraded and went to the full and a half, and literally she nailed it. Funny little story, in warm-ups, it was not so great. And I pulled her aside and I said, Shania, do you want this? And she said, yes. And I said, all right, well, let's go. And then she did one of the best vaults she has done in competition, probably ever in college so far.
Yeah, and she scored a 9.95.
She did, and then Maddie Wallagora came in doing the best 1.5, and she's starting to get that landing, understand that technique, and really know where she is. And so I love seeing this steps being taken and landings being found and doing big explosive vaults off the table. That's really important.
And then we have Luisa Blanco, who scored a 9.9 on vault.
And the week before this, Luisa struggled, and she did not struggle this time. She still was a little surprised by her landing, and that's only because she needs more reps. We kind of took a little bit of time to get Luisa into the vault lineup because she was coming off shoulder surgery this summer, and so everything has been just a progression. So I love the fact that those 4 vaulters went out there and did some of their best vaults so far this season, but we also know that they're capable of more. And all that allows us to do is build our depth on vault and our consistency and our confidence. Because if we can score over 49.5 every week on that event, that will put us in a great position going into each event.
Now, I always ask you about what were your expectations going into this rotation. I cannot speak, specifically vault. And after this, one of the best performances they've ever had this season. Were all expectations met for you?
Close. We want to, of course, stick as many vaults as possible. We want to have the best form, the best amplitude and execution, and we are taking those steps. We aren't exactly where we want to be, but we're definitely in the right position in moving forward.
Well, I can't wait to talk about the rest of the meet, so don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll be discussing bars and beam.
The Dana Duckworth Show is brought to you by Alabama One.
Welcome back to the Dana Duckworth Show, brought to you by Alabama One. I am Kennedy Chase, here with head coach Dana Duckworth. And Coach, you've been talking a lot about progress pretty much throughout this whole season. Going into that bars rotation, did you see the progress that you've been wanting from your team?
Aggressive bar routines is what we really wanted to strive for, and we did a great job. I think this bar team may be one of the best bar teams we've had in a very long time. And if they can hit their handstands and stick their landings, the sky's the limit.
That's amazing. Well, let's look at some of those bars highlights, starting with Cam Machado, who scored a 9.9.
So what I love about what you're going to see in Cameron is she is steady Eddie. She is literally so tight in this whole entire routine. Her legs are pinned together. She has a very challenging bar routine from high to low. And I love to see that she's competing so consistently, because this is truly how she trains in the practice every day. She tries to make every routine a championship routine. She does a full pirouette, double tuck. She nails this landing. Those feet don't move. She brings her legs together. And you see how she almost like double checks, like, wait, can I celebrate this? And I thought to myself, Cameron, you need to throw that head back and just bring the crowd alive.
And next we have Luisa Blanco, who scored a 9.95 on bars.
Luisa, very similar to Cameron. She really is training well, and she's translating that into competition. She moves from the high bar to the low bar with such fluidity, and I just love the way she attacks her handstands here. Of course, I use this term, exclamation point on the routine, but this dismount, check it out. boom, one stick after
landing.
another, and she throws that head back and gets really excited, and you can see that passion of her teammates. And the amplitude on this dismount, she goes well above the bar. She has good legs tight together, gets that landing, sees it, and that's exactly what the judges rewarded her for.
And last, we have Makari Doggett, who also scored a 9.95 on bars.
And Makari just has the big routine. You see this Takachev, it's huge release move into an immediate pack salto. It's literally just going from the start to the finish. It's just momentum and a lot of speed. And I love how she gets off the bar here. Probably one of the best double layouts in collegiate gymnastics, well above the bar, sees that landing. And again, it was contagious. That's what was so exciting about bars, is that one athlete after another just led to the better performance. And that's what we want to do. We want to build on each performance as they build in the lineup.
And you can see in the student section, everyone was celebrating all their stuck landings. How was that?
Well, it was great to have the students down low. And what was really fun is before the meet was started, Sania Mitchell went over to the students and she trained them and she said, listen, when we land, I need this place to explode. And it was great to have our athletes really kind of get the students involved because it makes a difference for the score and we absolutely feed off the energy.
I actually remember her doing that. I saw her getting the crowd hype. I thought that was awesome. But we're going to go straight into beam, starting with Shania Adams, who scored a 9.9 in the third rotation.
So this was Shania's first time getting out since, I believe, her first meet in January. And so I was really looking for her to stay calm, cool, and collective.
Yes.
She did the front aerial. She covered that little wobble. She did a beautiful back handspring layout. You see that she gets good amplitude. This is the crowd favorite.
Yes.
A squat turn in a double position. It's just awesome. Right here, a switch leap split jump. That's a requirement that she needs. And then the biggest place she can improve on is the stuck dismount. She does a back handspring 1.5. It's a hard blind landing, and you can see she takes a small little boom, and I told her, gotta bring those feet back together. But again, that was a good step in her confidence.
And now we're going to talk about Lily Hudson, who scored a 9.9 on beam.
Well, let me tell you what's so special about this beam routine. She actually came after a fall. Maddie Wallagora had made a mistake, and there you have freshman Lily Hudson in that tough situation. She does all of her skills beautifully. She puts in the switch, which is her second leap combination when she's questioning whether she makes her series. And then she sets up for a dismount. And just because she is the kind of athlete that trusts herself, watch how she owns this dismount. A round off 1.5, boom, perfect landing,
Yes.
Good sell. Just really excited for her. And then of course, Luisa Blanco comes in behind her and does what Luisa does every day. She was stunning.
And she scored a 9.95 on beam.
Yes, and if you watch her move, she does a steady, nice, calm front aerial. She does a beautiful full turn. She works high releve. Look at just her toe point, her fingers. Right here, she does a layout. She knows she's got it. Switch leap, beat jump. And right here on the double full, but you see that small little hop. She came over to me after the routine. She goes, Dana, I got stuck in the air. That really was her only deduction.
Oh, wow.
It's just, she is such a beautiful beam worker. And if she can continue that pace, I know that she can pull off a 10 at some point. And at the end of the day, she is doing incredible beam. She's training incredible beam, and she's an inspiration to everyone. And so we keep putting her in those pressure positions, and I just continue to hope that she trusts herself.
I can't wait to see her score a 10 on beam. I know it's coming sooner than later, right?
We hope so. We hope so.
Well, don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll be discussing the final rotation, which is floor.
The Dana Duckworth Show is brought to you by Alabama One.
Hi, and welcome back to the Dana Duckworth Show, brought to you by Alabama One. I'm Kennedy Chase here with head coach Dana Duckworth. And coach, we're going to talk about this last rotation, which was floor. Do you ever notice a difference in their energy when they're performing their floor routines, whether that be at home or on the road?
The girls do a really good job at creating their own energy, whether we are home or whether we're on the road. The difference is a home crowd, there's almost like this extra level of confidence, strength. Actually, someone told me one time that home advantage, they did a study, and this was in men actually, that the testosterone was higher at a home contest than it is at an away. And I thought to myself, I could see that.
Yeah.
And so I feel like their energy is very, very high and they're very focused, but I do think there's a competitive advantage of being at home.
I can definitely see that energy being just higher because of just the crowd being around you celebrating because they want you to win, right?
That's right.
So let's start with Makari Doggett with these floor highlights, and she scored a 9-9.
First time Makari has been in floor this season. You can see she starts off with a pike full in. This floor routine is very special for her. It is incredible. The music, the selection, the dance, the choices right there. Now that dance series we have changed for this week. So that was her biggest deduction, but her tumbling was so aggressive. A front through double pike. She gets great height. You can see her face. She's pretty excited. I told her to kind of go medium salsa. I didn't want her to go full out hot salsa till she was done because this was the first performance she had done. And she was so proud of herself and I was so happy for her. You know, she's been real persistent on getting ready for floor, so it was awesome to see her be successful.
And then we're going to talk about Lily Hudson, who scored a 9-9 on floor.
Lily continues to amaze me. She performs so confidently. She does a really hard first pass, a front layout, front double full, nails that landing, really sharp in her. And I love how her performance aspect, her eye contact, getting into the judge, being more dramatic, using the whole body, getting a little more personality in it, is all coming alive.
And you were saying something about music. How does that selection process go? How involved are the athletes with that?
They're very involved with the process. They pick out things that fit their personality. But like Lily, she wanted my input because it was her freshman year.
Right.
She wanted something different. So she's a dynamic tumbler. You see her do a huge double back there.
Yes.
She was so high and tried to get her chest up that she actually had to take a small bounce back. But again, the personality of the athlete and the music, you try to combine those two things together. And it is a process. We start in the summer and we come up with the perfect cut. And like for Lexi, she wanted her performance to be about, I want to be eye-catching. I want my dance and my eyes and my whole persona to come out during this routine.
Okay.
So I was looking for that word. I was like, what is that word? And so she does great tumbling, a great jump series right here. But what I love is this combination of what her personality is. She has a lot of energy. She's super spunky, and that is exactly what this routine shows. She's got great tumbling. That was a beautiful front double pike. You see her just sell it, own it. She's just having a good time. You know, she came back for that 5th year. We call her a super senior, and she does her job every single week. And it's just awesome to see her continue to love the sport and to be able to be such a great role model in competitive greatness for the other athletes that are around her.
Now I want to discuss some quick final thoughts on this tri-meet. Since it was a tri-meet, does that ever mess with the focus of the gymnast, whether that be on beam or with floor?
If anything, I would say to you, it makes them even more focused. I know we've talked a lot about the Bama bubble, and what that means is the more we can eliminate the distractions and eliminate the noise by just focusing on what we can control, then we end up being better as a team. Because when you are in that postseason, there's a lot going on, and if your eyes are wandering and you aren't fully focused on what you need to do, it will impact your overall performance, and that's what the goal is. So we stay in the Bama bubble, and I think a tri-meet's great because it allows you to kind of practice that in advance.
Definitely. So don't go anywhere. We come back. Since we're done talking about all the rotations, we're going to talk about Dana's tip of the week.
The Dana Duckworth Show is brought to you by Alabama One.
Welcome back to the Dana Duckworth Show, brought to you by Alabama One. I'm Kennedy Chase here with head coach Dana Duckworth, and now it is time for Dana's tip of the week, which is vault improvement. So, Coach, talk to us about your strategies of how you progress for vault throughout the season.
Vault's been a tricky one because after the vault changed where you had to have a 9.95 start value and a 10.0 start value, our goal was to have as many 10.0 start values as possible. And so the strategy has been really in the summer and in the fall, we tried to push our athletes that only did a Yurchenko full to do a 1.5 or a double. And we have been very blessed that this season we have 9 vaulters training a 10.0 start value vault. So what we've done is each week we've tried to progress. First, you know, we had this January 21st, Shallon does a double full. She's done the same vault the whole time she's been at Alabama. And then A couple weeks later, she does another big vault and she nails the landing. So where did that come from? Well, first off, the vault that happened at the beginning of the season wasn't as tight. It didn't have the same kind of amplitude off the table. And now she's not only gotten tighter in the air because we've studied it, but she's also been able to find that landing. It doesn't mean she's going to stick every time, but definitely the consistency in practice has improved. And if you really do believe that you're going to compete your average, then I would say Shallon has studied the vault that was on the one side where we needed to work on amplitude and form and basically visualization. And then she's made those progressions in practice, which then have made it better in competition. And really, we have done that with multiple people. And so we have Shania doing a 1.5 for the first time. Maddie Gora started this summer with kind of struggling, and then she found the niche. And so everything is about working the front end of the vault, working the round off, trying to make the technique better, because vault's a really technical event. So I think the strategy has been, we want to have as many 10-0 start values as possible, and we want to put out the most consistent vaulter each week. And so we do an intra-squad, so we'll have 9 girls today, as a matter of fact, do an intra-squad. And the top 6 that have been most consistent, that have the biggest scoring potential, will be put in the lineup.
Okay, so the rotation, or not the rotation, but the lineup switches every meet, essentially.
Yeah, in the very beginning, things do switch around because you're trying to figure out what's best. And the reason we put Shallon up first is she's got consistency. She knows how to do that vault. And like we saw this week, she's stuck and she lit a fire. And so by lighting that fire, it just became contagious. So then the next vaulter went and they did a big old vault, and that was Jordan Paradise, a freshman.
Right.
And then Shania went and she did the best vault she's ever done. So as you've built that, it's only made us better, and that's where our scoring potential will increase.
Well, don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll be discussing a much anticipated meet coming up this weekend, which is that Power of Pink meet.
The Dana Duckworth Show is brought to you by Alabama One.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Alabama Gymnastics.
Welcome back to the Dana Duckworth Show, brought to you by Alabama One. I'm Kennedy Chase, here with head coach Dana Duckworth. And Coach, after watching that video, I just can't help but smile. What does this Power of Pink mean to you and to your team?
We've been doing the Power of Pink for 18 years, and I get emotional because I think about these women who have fought. And I think about that we get to give back to the community in the breast cancer community. There is a community there.
Right.
We always bring a survivor in to talk to the team, and it's amazing the kind of stories that are so similar when they talk about it's the worst thing, but it's the best thing that ever happened to me, because I really learned who I was in the process, and I learned what was important, and I got perspective on my life. And so what I just appreciate is that at the meet, we get to make it about the breast cancer survivors, those that are going through it, those that have beat it, and those that we, didn't win their battle. And we have to be able to talk about early detection and awareness, because it's not just in a certain population that breast cancer shows up. It shows up in really kids in college. It shows up in men and women. And so it's just a very special meet because we use the platform of gymnastics to do something greater than ourselves. And it just is a way to give back to the community of breast cancer survivors. And we're very proud and honored to be able to take the focus off us and put the focus on the real fighters. And it just is really cool.
I love that. It's like they're competing for something bigger than themselves, essentially, which I think is so inspiring.
And the other thing is, I don't think there's anybody out there at this point in their life that doesn't know someone or maybe directly has been impacted by breast cancer. And so I think it's an opportunity for all of us to really just be appreciative of every day we get, and to be able to focus on others versus ourselves. And I think that's really special, because if we learn that now, especially as 18 to 22-year-olds, I hope they take that in the next chapter of their life and give back. Griffin James is volunteering at the DCH Cancer Treatment Center right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and she was sharing with me, it's just such a different perspective when you see the families that are impacted. And it is something more. And I just feel like it's a great way to recognize that.
I love that. I love giving back to your community, how important that really is. So let's talk about this meet. It's Power of Pink, but you're also competing against Georgia. What are you focusing on in practice leading up to this meet on Friday?
Well, first of all, the Georgia-Alabama rivalry is one of the best. It has been so tremendous over the last many, many years, and I think that it's amazing that we're going to have them in the house. The fact that it's a 6:30 meet really is great for younger kids. A lot of my friends that have kids that want to get to a bedtime, you're out of there by 8 o'clock. And so it's great for a Friday family fun night. There's a lot of tickets available, so you can go to rolltide.com and go grab a great ticket. And honestly, the way we've set the arena up, there isn't a bad ticket. And so I think that you get to wear pink, get your pink boa out, bring a pink hat, do everything you can, and then take a moment, because in the meet, we will take a moment and we will honor all of those who, whether it's breast cancer, any kind of cancer, will have an opportunity to stand up and recognize them. And I think that's something special for all of us that are going to be there. And we get to celebrate an awesome sport and do beautiful gymnastics for something bigger than ourselves. And so thank you to Tuscaloosa Toyota. There's going to be awesome pink shirts and lots of pink shakers. And so bring your pink, think pink, and roll tide.
Roll tide to that. I'll be wearing my pink on Friday, I promise. I know I'm not wearing it today, but I'll be wearing it on Friday for you guys. Thank you so much for watching us. Roll tide, everyone.
This has been a presentation from Learfield,